Hi guys, it's Gina. Welcome back to my channel. And as you can tell, we're not in my room doing makeup today. But today, I figured since I'm making chocolate chip cookies, I would have you guys here with me. And we'll go on make these chocolate chip cookies. All I'm using is the Nestle Toll House, the recipe on the back right here. That's all I'm using. That's all I really ever use. So if you want to see what's going on and also learn how to make these cookies with me, then keep on watching. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do before we do any of the cookies and all that is we're going to put our hair back because you want to get it back. So I'm just putting it in like a ponytail in the back like this. And then after we do this, we are going to want to go wash our hands. Alright, so I'm just going to turn the sink on. So I'm just going to turn the sink on like lukewarm water, get it going as I kick stuff in the sink. And then I'm going to put some soap on my hands, wash them. And then grab a paper towel. Just dry off my hands. And then after we wash the hands, the next thing we're going to do is set the oven for 350. So I'm going to hit bake over here. It does the both. 350 and just hit start. I do this before I start baking so that it's all set and ready and it will warm up as we go. So once we're done prepping, now all we got to do is put all the ingredients into what it says on here. So at first it says combine flour, baking soda, and salt into a small bowl. So I have this bowl. I have all my ingredients laid out for me. So I have flour and it says get 2 1/4 cups of flour. So I'm going to do that. So all I do is I take this measuring cup, it's a 1 cup, and then I take a butter knife so I can scrape off the excess and I just scoop in the flour. And then when I scoop in the flour, as you can see, I'll take my butter knife, go like this, and then I just brush it off. And then I add it into this bowl again right here. And that is our 1 cup of flour. Now that the flour is all done, I'm going to move it out of the way. You can probably hear it. And now I'm going to do the baking soda. That's what it calls for next. And it says 1 teaspoon of baking soda. You want to use baking soda, not baking powder, because if you switch those two, it will be very bad. And all I do is I scoop this in, and it has a lip on the side. This little metal piece right here. You just scrape it up, and I have 1 teaspoon. I think I said tablespoon, but I meant teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And then it calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. This is the salt. It's right here. This is not our salt shaker that we use for when we have dinner. So scrape it like this. I set it down, put it over, grab the butter knife, make sure you use the back of it, and just slide it off. And there's 1 teaspoon of salt, and you can still hear the oven going. It's at 330 right now, and I'm honestly just going to take this knife, which you probably really shouldn't do. It's just a butter knife though. And I'm just going to mix all this around, all the dry dry ingredients around so they're all nice and mixed for when you go to add them to the rest of our bowl. And I'm going to set that to the side. Alright, so the next thing it calls for is you want to beat butter, granulated sugar, which is just regular sugar, brown sugar, and that's letting you know that the oven's ready, and the vanilla extract into a large mixing bowl, which I have right here with my mixer. So I'm going to grab the butter. It's right behind me. You want to let it calls for 2 sticks because that is 1 cup and it needs to be softened. So you can see how like really easy and squishy they are for these. This is what they need to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the butter literally into the bowls and just shake it off. And you can use margarine, but it calls for butter, so I would use butter instead of margarine. And the next it calls for 3/4 of granulated sugar. I actually have a 3/4 cup. If you can see it, it says it right on there, but I don't know if it's blurry or not, but that's what this cup is. And I'm going to scoop it into the sugar. And I'm going to use that same knife. Move it around so it makes it all fit. And do that, and then slide it off. And put the 3/4 of the sugar in the bowl. And If you want to know what kind of bowl I'm using, it's just a KitchenAid mixer with mixing bowl, and then I'm going to be using a paddle for it. And the next thing it calls for is brown sugar, and it's 3/4 of brown sugar. And the thing about brown sugar is that it wants it packed. So you like scoop it in there, but you want to make sure that it's all nice and packed on the inside. Give it like a little look like this. Mine just moved a little bit. But you want it nice and packed in there. Get the rest of it out of there because it's all in clumps, which happens to brown sugar. It happens. A little bit more. Nope, still need more. And it's okay that the oven is on right now. It's fine because you're gonna need it. And now I got brown sugar all over me because you gotta pack it. See, nice and packed in the 3/4 cup. Dump it in there. And next it calls for your vanilla. This wants 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is just vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract. You just pop it open and you pour it, and you carefully pour it over your food for all the rest of your ingredients. And I just pour that in. Set this down, and now I put my paddle on my mixer. And now I'm going to mix. Alright, so now I'm gonna mix. All I do is I set this down because I want you to beat these ingredients until it's creamy. So I'm just gonna lock it because you always want to lock it because sometimes it's gonna bounce up. And I'm just gonna have it on stir at first because you have all these ingredients on. And I'll bring you guys over and show you what it's doing. So this is what it's doing. It's just stirring all the ingredients up like this, and then I'm gonna raise it up to 2, and then I'll raise it up 1 more, and then I'll stop it, and then I will stir it and do it again. So what I'm gonna do is lift it up. As you can see, it's that stuff on it, so I'm gonna scrape the sides of the bowl with this rubber spatula, just so I can make sure that it all gets mixed evenly. That's why this is done. And then you get whatever off of the paddle. Like there's a big chunk of butter on the paddle. You want to get that off. You want to get all of this off too. Or at least not all of it, but most of it. And then you want to scrape this off. And then you basically do the same. You start mixing it again until it's so creamy. All right, now I think that is good enough because I got that. So what you do again is you scrape it again, you know. This is like the tedious part of it, but I love baking, so I don't mind it. And then it asks to beat 1 egg at a time, and it calls for 2 large eggs. So there's not that much on there, so I just take, add eggs 1 at a time, beating well after each. And then, so I have an egg, crack it on the side. They tell you not to do it because you can get a shell, but if you get a shell in there, it's not that hard to pick out, but I barely get shells in there. Oh, gotta beat it. And I try not really to touch anything because I got stuff on my hands and it's egg, so it's salmonella purposes. And I'm just beating it. like it says to do. It's just mixing. And then I'm gonna stop it, open it up. Ooh, take this again, do the same thing. And then I'll add the second egg. And then we can get on to adding the dry ingredients in there. Because right now on the inside, as I showed you guys how I was mixing it before, does not look like chocolate chip cookies. Now does it? Not yet. Smells like it though. And I take this egg, crack it again, put it in there, make sure all the egg white gets in there, take that off, put this down, and then stir it again. And while this is stirring, I'm going to wash my hands. Now the good thing about having this locked is that I can go and wash my hands like I just did and then come back and do more to it because it's not going to move because I have this locked. If I was to have this up, this thing would be like probably bouncing all over the place, which is what we don't want. I'm going to lift it. Gotta do this again, and then I'll do this, and then when we come back, I will be doing the dry ingredient. All right, so now that that's done, I'm gonna have it, I'm going to put a little bit of our dry mixture in, just a little bit, and then you're gonna stir it slow. You're just gonna put it on stir, because if not, it will go all over the place. This is what's supposed to thicken up and make it more. And then I like to have it on, and then I just sprinkle some in a little bit at a time. And I'll add the last of it. Now we're done with that. So now that it's all mixed in, I can speed it up a little bit. I'm gonna turn it off, and then I'm gonna scrape the sides again. So the last and final step is that you add the chocolate chips. Now I just add them with the mixer, so I need to open them up with scissors. Scissors over here. Grab my pair of scissors and just open them up. And it calls for this whole bag. You don't have to, but I like to add in the whole bag. I need a couple. And now I'm gonna mix it all together, and I'll bring you guys over here and show you what it looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like before we get to mixing. And I'm gonna obviously lock this, and then we're gonna mix, and you're gonna see it transform. Now that they are all done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my medium-sized cookie scoop, and I'm going to scoop them right onto this cookie sheet. So all I do is, as you can see, is I just take some, scoop it, scrape it on the sides, and then I just plop it on the cookie sheet. And I'm going to do that until all these pans are full. Now that these sheets are full, I'm going to take each one and I'm going to put them in the oven. So let's open this up nice and warm. And what you want to do is you want to bake them for about 9 to 11 minutes. But with this oven, I have to do more of like 8 minutes because that's just how it is. Taking them. Grab the last cookie sheet. I still have more in the bowl. Now I'm gonna put those in for about 8 minutes. So, come over here, hit the timer, hit 8, that's 8 minutes. Turn on, and then when that goes off, I will check the cookies. Here's an update of what the cookies look like on the inside. And that's the bottom rack. So our timer just went off, and let's see how our cookies are doing. I say they look like they need at least 1 more minute. So we're gonna close this, come up here, hit timer, hit 1 minute. Timer off, be back in a minute. This is what the final product is for the first batch of cookies that I just did. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this different video. I want to do different content on my channel, so it's not just going to be makeup anymore on my channel. If you guys like it, please give this a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Also hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a video right away, and you can be the first ones to see it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.